Hello, welcome to episode 58 of the Epic Film Challenge 2, 1,001 Movies You Must See Before You Die, 1974's Blazing Saddles. What did you think?
We'd seen it before, hadn't we?
We had. I think I bought this not long after I first got a Blu-ray player, so about 5 years ago. We both watched it. I remembered very little about it.
Yeah, I felt like I was watching it for the first time. There were certain things that I remember. The ending...
I didn't forget the ending. That's one thing.
I did forget part of the ending,
Yeah.
when it really got crazy. Like, the first kind of, like, funny crazy,
Yeah.
I remembered, but...
When it just goes all the way out there.
Yeah, I'm like... Really?
So it's a Mel Brooks film, and we all know what Mel Brooks usually does. He lampoons a genre of film, and here it's westerns, but also he's kind of spoofing racism in a big bad way, because you just got all of this use of the N-word, and what he did with this film was that he kind of just went with it, you know. And a lot of people point to like Tarantino using that in his films lately, with Django Unchained and The Hateful Eight, but Mel Brooks was doing it back in the 70s. Like, you know, it's all, that word is all over the film, and it's used both by black people, by white people, and as a general term, as an offensive term, as the butt of a joke. I mean, this film is very much like using these offensive things as humor, and you could argue that it's kind of a good way to go about it, by kind of disarming people with the humor, but also using the sensitive subject matter. The film is just crazy. It's typical Mel Brooks. There's no rules. You never know what's going to happen, as can be seen by the ending of the film.
Yeah.
And it centers around this black guy played by Cleavon Little, who is just I guess kind of a slave worker, or no, I don't think he is, because at the beginning they said when you used to be slaves. But either way, he's working with a kind of like a chain gang almost on these railroad tracks with all these other black people, and I think there's some Chinese people there as well. He gets put in jail, and then there's this whole like side, well, not even side plot, it is the plot, where these white guys, they want to put the railroad through this town, where they want to get the people of the town to go so they can demolish the town. And so they have the bright idea to send the black guy into the town as the new sheriff, which they're obviously going to reject because he's black, and then, you know, they'll be able to put their railroad through the town and make more money. So it's focused on that, and this black guy coming in as the sheriff and getting a very warm welcome, or not, and how he deals with that, and how the whole plot to get this town, Rock Ridge, demolished plays out for the quote-unquote bad guys. Lots of characters in the film, and...
We watched it mainly for...
Yes, Gene Wilder, who passed away a few days ago, so a lot of people have been talking about him, obviously, but also watching his films, going back to films like Young Frankenstein, Willy Wonka, and this one, Blazing Saddles. I forget that this almost isn't a Gene Wilder film in a way. It takes 30 minutes for him to even appear in the film. He is very much one of the lead stars, though, and one of the lead characters.
Once he enters the movie, he is. Yeah.
But I wouldn't say his character was even great. He's great. He's brilliant. Like, I just think in every film I've seen him in, he just has this on-screen presence that is just enjoyable, believable, funny. You know, he's funny without trying to be funny, if that makes sense. You know, it seems effortless with him, I think. And I loved his introduction scene with the black sheriff, where they kind of got to know each other. In fact, my favourite part of the whole film is those two guys together. I just really enjoyed their relationship. And yeah,
yeah, from the first moment I thought they were great together.
Yeah, they're great chemistry and stuff. And some of the times where they're like laughing about stuff, it seems like it's real. You know, they just seem to be having a lot of fun together. You know, making
seem like
it.
They're friends.
Yeah.
In real life.
Yeah, it was a very believable thing. But yeah, like the whole plot with the railroad tracks and stuff, I think it drags a bit for me in the beginning. It takes quite a while to get going for a film that is essentially a wacky comedy, and some of the humor doesn't hit for me. Like, there's some bits where you're meant to laugh, and I'm just sat there in silence. I can't even give it a kind of a courtesy, you know. And I think we were both like that. A few bits and pieces which, you know, didn't really hit, but
Just because some bits were like trying too much
Exactly.
to be funny.
Exactly. That's it.
Like very like
over the top.
Yeah, but clumsy funny.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, yeah. True. Yeah. Like
clumsy things making it look funny.
Yeah. There's this executioner who's like, oh, and he's like swinging his arms around. It's just no, it just doesn't hit my funny bone at all.
Yeah, it seemed like, so who here can overact?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing that I found funny was like him having a busy schedule. Like I'm fully booked till Monday.
That was funny. Yeah, it's those little
those
little lines that are brilliant. It's one of the funniest films I think that I've seen, because when the humor does hit, it really hits.
Yeah, but then you have all those like, it's like they're trying to fill in every scene and every almost like clip or whatever with something like hitting his head on the window. Like,
didn't really.
That's not funny. It's funny for kids maybe to see someone bump their head, and then there's strange things.
I think that it's
like the statue thing. That was just uncomfortable for me. It was like
that was fun.
No, I didn't. I found the reaction of the other guy funny. But him, I just. Ugh.
There's lots of smart humour in the film, as well as just over-the-top wacky stuff that is funny, like just little bits of little lines and things like that are just really smart, and then things that are just really just like outlandish, like when Gene Wilder and Cleavon Little dress up in the Ku Klux Klan robes, and they're trying to sign their name down. His hand is showing and it's black, and it's like, oh, what? His hands are dirty.
I told you to clean your hands. See, it's coming off. It's showing his other hand.
Unbelievable. I just think this film was made in the 70s. It's crazy. And
but the Ku Klux Klan thingy was funny as well when it's like, hey guys, look what I got here, and it's like showing the sheriff, and then the sheriff goes, well, this isn't a spoiler because it's just funny, but he's like, where are the white girls at, or whatever. Or white women, I guess. But that was just so funny because it's so like almost like 80s. Kind of thing, and
they play on everything. They play on, you know, when the sheriff arrives, you know, let me just whip this out, and I was like, oh. It's very funny.
It was a piece of paper.
The first time I watched the film, the ending threw me so off base. I couldn't believe where they went with the ending. And you must have seen Blazing Saddles. If you haven't, it's a spoiler, but it's not a film to be spoiled by. But obviously at the end,
the camera is kind of a spoiler.
Alright, well, okay.
I would like that to be.
Okay, let's just true. It is quite a big reveal. So I tell you what, we'll just do a spoiler section. So very brief. I think we've covered it. We don't need to go into too much detail more than that. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was brilliant comedy. Is it a film you must see before you die?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'd say so, because I see why it has this status as one of the greatest comedies of all time. I don't know if it's up there with my favourite comedies.
No.
Yeah,
but thinking about how old it is and how that kind of comedy, like at least it is very like.
It's a weird thing, because I do genuinely think it's one of the all-time great comedies, but it's not my favourite for some reason. Even though it makes me laugh as hard as any film almost. There's just something about the whole film from start to finish that I couldn't see myself watching again and again and again and again. No. I'm sure I will watch it many more times in my life, but not something like, you know, maybe it's just the way I've been brought up with 90s comedy films, I don't know. But it's definitely one of the all-time greats. It is a film you must see before you die because of that. You know, you got some great performances, some, you know, hammy, cheesy performances, and just some stuff that you can only get away with in a Mel Brooks film, I think. Just when all rules are out the window, and, you know, it's just, you don't get laughs like a Mel Brooks film like anywhere else, I don't feel like. Maybe you do, I don't know, but for me I feel like they're quite unique. And his style of film is very unique, even though it is kind of just a basic spoof. It's very Mel Brooks at the same time. I mean, he's in the film like in 3 different parts as well, as usual.
I feel like some of the humor in this movie is like, the way you react is like when you're in a crowd and someone comes up with a joke, but you don't know if it's a joke. And then you just sat there like smiling and looking like, anybody gonna laugh? Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I'm just gonna sit here and smiling.
Yeah, it's humor just hits you out of nowhere sometimes. Like you'll just be watching a normal scene and then it'll just explode in your face, like the guy punching the horse in the face, which I know you don't like. because of the fact the horse had to fall over. But who would
and
expect?
The fact that the guy on top of the horse had to pull the rope so hard to make the horse go like that and then fall over. And other things like explosions in the ending as well.
Some of that was quite sketchy.
The horses were obviously scared. Some of them were falling over quite hard as well.
I've seen a lot worse though.
I don't care. No. It's the 70s. Didn't they care about animals back then? When did WWF start?
I don't know.
I don't know, but it's just that kind of stuff makes me so uncomfortable. I can't enjoy what the humans are doing to each other because I don't care about the humans. Leave the animals alone. So that kind of pisses me off.
Yeah.
You had to stir it up. Damn it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the bit when he punches a horse in the face, like you'd never would have expected that to actually happen. You know, it's just so out of nowhere.
He doesn't punch the horse in the face.
Yeah, no, but in the film I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course. But the guy just, if you think about how it happens, he
I
has to yank
I understand.
it so
I understand.
hard.
I understand. I understand.
Poor
Right.
horses.
The ending. So the ending, you know, they build a fake version of the town, which is ridiculous in and of itself. That overnight they build a scale replica of the entire town.
Replicas of themselves in half an hour.
And and then the camera just pans back out of the western town, and you just see Hollywood. And we go onto this movie set, and then the fight.
We're in Hollywood.
The fight spills into the movie set, and then they go outside the Warner Brothers studio, and the bad guy takes a taxi, you know, get me out of this picture, you know, and then he goes to see Blazing Saddles in the cinema, and he sees the film inside the film, and you know, it's
he sees what's gonna happen. He's like, oh shit, and he runs out. Yeah.
It's one of the most mental endings or scenes I've ever seen in a film. And again, a Mel Brooks
film.
film.
Is it a sunset in the end as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they ride off into the sunset, don't they? But they get off the horses and they get into a black tiny limo thingy car.
The driver picks them up at the end. They're riding off on the horses in the typical Western ending, and then they get off
into those.
Yeah, and then they get in the car, and the car drives off through the Old West. That's the end of the film.
Into the sunset.
It's a brilliant film. It is a film you must see before you die. And yeah, I don't know why it's not one I'd say, yeah, that's one of my favourite, you know, comedies, but it's, you know...
Probably because of the 30% of the bad humour in it.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but like
I mean, 70% of good humour is pretty good.
Yeah, like I say, when it does hit, it hits funnier than anything I can say that I've seen, you know, comedy-wise, I don't know.
You laughed out loud a lot.
Yeah, which isn't that...
I laughed out loud sometimes too, and I usually don't laugh out loud. I just sit there and like...
it takes a lot to get me to really laugh, I think, and this one does it, so, you know, for that it's definitely notable. What?
It doesn't take a lot to make you laugh.
To laugh out loud like the way I did during this film, I think it is.
Well, I hear it a lot.
Oh yeah, you hear it a lot like in everyday life, but in films, like comedy films, you know, and it's probably because... with a comedy film, you know that they're trying to make you laugh, and so, I don't know, a lot of the time...
True.
Yeah. Anyway, right.
It's the trying part,
Yeah. Anyway, this has gone far too long, but thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.